Welcome back. Historically, black women have often been overlooked for their innovation and leadership. And as we say often on this show, representation matters, especially in the media we consume. My next guest is someone who has dedicated her career to making sure women of color are recognized for their impact in the media industry and celebrated for their exceptional work. Joining me now is Lauren Wesley Wilson, CEO and founder of ColorCom, an organization dedicated to building a network of women of color in communications. Let me go right to it, Lauren. For this Black History Month, ColorCom is celebrating 28 black women for 28 days who are making strides in the communications world. Tell us more about the goal of this campaign and about the importance of celebrating these women's successes.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Reverend Sharpton. It's so important to highlight the extraordinary stories and accomplishments that these women have made and the impact they made at their companies over the past year. We focus on women who are, some of them are the first to hold their position that year, who have made great strides in history. You know, so often we talk about the barriers to advancement. We focus on the bleak statistics about women of color and the charge that we need to be in the C-suite, but we really wanted to highlight the positive impact and share the positive stories of these women who are already there. I mean, that's what's really what this is about and what Black History Month is sharing the positive impact of these women, because if you can't see it, you can't be it. And I know these women are inspiring so many women in their careers to achieve what they have.
And we had you on last year about this, and I think it's so important because they do not get the credit they deserve. When I look at your list, I know many of them. My colleague here, my little sister Tiffany Cross, and Rachel Nordlinger, who is the best at what she does, worked with us in many groups, but probably many of the cases that we've heard, she was the media one behind it at Rachel Nordlinger, the irreplaceable corporate queen, that Tanya Lombard that's on the list. I mean, I can look at this list, even though I had no input on what you decided, and say, yeah, she's got the A-list in black women in media. In recent years, we've seen many media companies increase their diversity and inclusion efforts. However, many newsrooms and PR firms are still predominantly white. In what ways, in your perspective, can the media industry effectively ensure adequate representation?
Well, it's not, you can't just talk about it, right? You need to put a plan and an action behind it. And then you need to set some realistic goals to see if you can be there and you can achieve that. I mean, the reason why this list is so important is whether we know these women or not, we're impacted by the work that they do on a daily basis because they are in industries that we are consumers for. And they are setting the message, they are setting the agenda of why we like certain products, why we like certain brands. And that's why it's really important to showcase these women's stories. And I think companies who are serious can take a look at this list as an example and say, you know what? There are no more excuses. There are black women in communications, in marketing, who are making great changes. We need to follow these companies' example. We need to promote internally, especially if you're doing great work. And we need to make a conscious effort behind it that's sustainable. That's not just checking the box one and done, but that gives you access and power to report to the CEO, that gives you budget and real decision-making power. Sometimes companies just appoint somebody as a face because they're feeling pressure from stakeholders and consumers. But we need companies to say, look, not just a face, but you have power. You are reporting to the CEO. You are in the executive meetings. You are represented on the board. And that's what ColorCom does. We do this not just during Black History Month. We focus on advancing women of color all year long through our membership-based community called the ColorCom Network, where we're an organization where we have monthly programming, mentorship, give back opportunities, and a real community that says we are here with you at every stage of your career, from ages 22 to 65. There's something for everyone to learn, to grow, to advance, and get the resources, tools, and skills that you need to succeed.
And these are not just token appointments or token positions. When I look at the president of MSNBC, Rashida Jones, who's on the list, who has been so effective. And she's a graduate of an HBCU. She'll probably reprimand me for mentioning her on the show. But I mean, I think these are examples of what black women can do, not as a token gesture, but if they're given the opportunity to perform, they can perform and overperform in many ways. Black women's success is celebrated year-round and not just in February.
Not just in February, and I'm a graduate of an HBCU. I went to Spelman College, so I have to shout Spelman out. But absolutely, these are women that have been working hard their whole careers, and we should just take note. And these are ways in which we can learn and succeed and advance by sharing their stories, not just now, but all year long.
And these are women that help to shape a lot of what the American public see. They know the difference between what is real and what is not, and they've done it in a professional way, and they have proven that if they can break that glass ceiling, they can perform and bring others through, and I think that's why this list is so important, why we had you last year, why we wanted you back this year.
Well, thank you so much for welcoming me back. And, you know, in this day and age, they are examples for the next generation of leaders to follow. And so I think that we will see with time more Black women entering spaces and becoming the first and only and different person to lead the charge in that executive role at some of these big consumer brands. So I can't wait to see what happens next.
All right. Lauren Wesley Wilson, thank you. Up next, my final thoughts. Stay with us.